Before I launch in, let me tell you about my company at Self-Love Recovery Institute. The website is selfloverecovery.com. And we have everything that I do, the services, the education, where we have a 30% sale on all the full-length seminar video or audio. And these are seminars I give to people, the general public, that range from 4 to 6 hours. If you have any information about that, including an upcoming retreat, an intensive weekend retreat, just shoot us an email. It's help@selfloverecovery.com. Or if you want to get our 30% discount code for any of the stuff we have on there, just email us at help@selfloverecovery.com. Okay, rules. If you ask a question, end with a question mark. I cannot answer any questions that are about your predicament with a narcissist, because those generally are very complicated and often serious and would require a consultation or therapy. I do have some openings, not many, for psychotherapy. If interested, just email us at help@selfloverecovery.com. Or there's always an opportunity for a consultation. Try to ask questions about the video or about Covert Narcissist. You're welcome to make comments, because people are also reading those comments and those are helpful, but I'm only going to respond to questions. Christine, Christine, so, yep. Thanks, Christine, that's very kind of you. I try my best. Well, thank you, Southern Bell Rising. I'm glad to have helped you. Been to Cincinnati, love Cincinnati. One day want to go to Wales, Elaine. Been to England and been to London, but love to go further around in that area. Okay, got two questions. Monica says, does narcissists believe in God? They generally don't actually believe in God unless their version of God supports their very rigid, judgmental, and controlling view of the world. And then they embrace this version of God and often are very, very dedicated, conservative, evangelical Christians or evangelical Jewish people or any other form of religions. It's not that they have a spiritual connection. They see the world in black and white. There are rules, and the rules control people. And because of control, life is easier. And if you are a criminal, a rapist, a child abuser, and you should be put into prison, and you are sitting around thinking all day, and all of a sudden you can't handle the shame, you discover God, Jesus, Buddha, Allah, and it takes away the shame. So they can believe in God, but it's for narcissistic reasons or to control others. It's not what I would call genuinely, authentically spiritual. But we're talking about religion and spirituality, so that's just my opinion. Next one, what will happen if a PNARC goes in jail for isolation for life? I don't know if they'll be miserable. And I don't know what that question, what I should say about that question is, they'll be miserable and they will suffer greatly. Can a person have narcissism and ADHD? Great question. Everything other than the personality disorder of narcissistic personality disorder is independent. So you can be an alcoholic and narcissistic. You can have depression and narcissistic. You can have ADHD. ADHD is independent. Any other mental illness, psychological disorder, substance abuse, or addiction is independent. SLDs or codependents can have ADHD. Narcissists can have ADHD. Okay. Can NPD be treated? No, it cannot. There are some treatment programs, but the problem is it requires a person who is genuinely able to be empathetic and understand the harm that they have created in other people's lives, want to be accountable for it, want to make amends, and want to get better. That goes completely against everything that we know about people with a personality disorder, specifically narcissistic personality disorder. They don't think they have a problem. They think everyone else has a problem. And that's when the buck stops. You're not going to seek therapy when you don't see the reason for it. And the only times that they will seek therapy is when the SLD, the codependent, or other people leverage therapy as a condition to stay in the relationship. Thank you, Isabel. You're very welcome. They can't heal because they're unable to connect to the trauma that is responsible for their psychological disorder. So that term healing does not really connect to people with narcissistic personality disorder. Okay, remember, end with a question mark. Do you do coaching? Okay, Peter, I just happened to get that one, but question mark. Coaches are people that do not have, more often than not, do not have any advanced or even any college degrees. I happen to have a master's degree. I'm licensed, I'm certified, and I provide psychotherapy. The difference between psychotherapy and coaching is immense. And I provide psychotherapy. In my psychotherapy approach, I do a little bit of everything. And some of that is to coach, because to me, coaching is a very specific approach to problem solving. And I do whatever works for the given problem and the person. If you are interested in working with me as a psychotherapist, just shoot us an email at help@selfloverecovery.com. Also check out the full-length seminar video and audio, because often people cannot afford the psychotherapy with me. And these educational seminars are a great alternative. And by the way, there's a 30% discount. Email us at help@selfloverecovery.com if you like more information. Okay, Isobel, do people with NPD suffer brief psychosis disorder? So I want to say again that mental health disorders are independent of narcissistic personality disorder. So if someone is NPD and they have a psychotic episode, it's a separate phenomenon. So it can happen. And there's a lot of reasons for why it does happen. And they're very complicated. Hello from Montenegro. Would love to go there, Peter. Question mark, remember if you want. Hey, Robert. Man, Robert, you and Christine are like always here. You guys rock. Can a vulnerable narcissist, okay, Robert, don't use terms that other people use, because I don't know what they are and I don't promote those. So I'm going to say, can a narcissist become an overt if they gain money or gain? Robert, ask that question without using terms of other people, and then I'll try to answer it. Can a covert narcissist be nice to anyone? Miriam, absolutely. They can be nice to everyone that are in their circle that requires them to be successful, requires them to be loved, liked, appreciated. And they will be nice, not because they want to be nice, but because they can get something from them. The niceness is not genuine. It's a tool, it's a technique, it's used to get what they want, and it's artificial. Okay. Shannon, what do you find is one of the best ways to separate yourself from the narcissist as much as they can? Shannon, I have spent my career developing a treatment program for self-love recovery, self-love deficit disorder, which is codependency. And in my book, The Human Magnet Syndrome, I talk about very important information. So if you want to separate yourself from a narcissist, read my book, The Human Magnet Syndrome. There is no way that you can move forward with any of my other work without that as a basis of information. And then I suggest strongly to go to selfloverecovery.com and check out my seminar videos. These are videos where I talk in detail and I have educational handouts, and that explains more than I can do on this very short question and answer, not episode, question and answer opportunity. I even have a video that's 6 hours long that is just about tips, tools, and techniques. So, and go to the website, look at the videos. They're now 30% off. I'd love to answer, but those questions would take hours upon hours. Why is a doctor allowed to run a day hospital? Okay, without some patients? Okay, I can't explain. I'm not going to answer any questions that are not directly about covert narcissists. For those just joining, he has a limited psychotherapy available. Contact him. Oh, thanks. I got someone that's helping me out. Thanks, Michelle Michelena. I am French neuropath invested that you're so welcome, Cecilia, if I pronounce that right. Remember, I am looking for question marks. And then I will answer those questions because the reason that's important is because I want to encourage people to either respond to what I'm talking about, answer other people's questions. And since there's just a lot of stuff just crossing my screen, I just look for the question mark and then I'm on it. Hanoun, by the way, I apologize to all the names I mispronounce. Hanoun, what is the difference between a strong narcissistic traits and NPD, please? Okay, great question. Hanoun, in my book, The Human Magnet Syndrome, I created a theory called the relationship compatibility theory, which explains that there is a continuum that represents, on one end, the worst of the people with narcissism, and that's pathological narcissism, and that's the personality disorders. On the other side is the worst of people that are giving and sacrificing, and that on that end is people with self-love deficit disorder or codependency. And then I talk about the gradations that move from pathological to healthy. And if you read that chapter, it's actually very complicated, but you will find that that question will be answered completely. And I'm very proud of that description, that theory, because it explains that not everyone is a pathological narcissist. Not everyone is a codependent. There are different shades, and people can get worse and they can get better. Okay. Question mark. Can you make seminars available on YouTube through paid subscription? I am developing an educational program that is going to have video content that is exclusive, and that will be as close to a paid subscription I have. But until that, the content that is not on YouTube is on my selfloverecovery.com website, and that you can order, and there's all sorts of different ways to get that. Can a covert narcissist be an overt narcissist if they, first of all, Robert, you can't be one or the other, okay? If you're a covert narcissist, you are going to pretend to be a certain type of person in order to get what you want. So, so covert narcissist, an overt narcissist is someone, it's just basically your garden variety person with narcissistic personality disorder. They're grandiose, they're entitled, they think the world needs to hear how good they are. They interrupt people, they're selfish. That's what I call an overt narcissist, but your garden variety NPD. A covert narcissist will be any version of themselves in order to get what they want, which can be outgoing, gregarious, reflective, quiet, whatever is the profession or the position or the role that they want to have so they can exploit people. Hopefully that helps you out a little bit, Robert. So the covert narcissist is gonna, I think that answers the question. Troy says, you're welcome, Troy. What happens in childhood if that would cause a child to become a covert instead of an overt narcissist? Okay, so complicated, great question, complicated answer. So if we look at an SLD and we look at someone who is a pathological narcissist that has one of 3 personality disorders, and one personality disorder is narcissistic personality disorder, and then there are subcategories. One of them is covert narcissist. If we understand, trying to get the answer to your question, to understand the genesis of the psychological disorder, whether it's codependency or SLDD or pathological narcissism, you would have to get background information, accurate background information about the child's experience in the family. And that information is almost absent for the most part because the narcissist has shut it down. But they experienced a form of severe attachment trauma within their family in which one of their parents was a pathological narcissist. And the type of trauma that they experienced and the coping mechanism or coping style that they developed to try to protect themselves later becomes the mental health disorder. Same with SLDD, same with pathological narcissists. So if you learn that by lying and pretending and being someone else compensates for the horrendous neglect or abuse or trauma, that is the beginning of that moves into adulthood. Okay. Again, you have to end it with a question mark. Michelle, are covert narcissists aware that they're absolutely? Covert narcissists are aware that they are narcissists, just as sociopaths are aware that they're sociopaths. It's someone with antisocial personality disorder is a sociopath, and they are conscious that they're liars and cheaters, con men, swindlers, and that it doesn't bother them. They don't have cognitive dissonance. They don't have any remorse or shame. A covert narcissist is a combination of narcissistic personality disorder and sociopathy. So you're a sociopath and a narcissist. So you are aware of lying, cheating, and misrepresenting yourself for the benefit of yourself. Okay, so covert narcissists are aware. Do narcissists always destroy and abuse their relationship partner? No, but they always harm the relationship partner because of not having sufficient empathy, remorse, or concern. But we also have to look at the relationship partner. The more a relationship partner is an SLD or codependent, the more they give of themselves and don't respond with a consequence or a boundary to the narcissist who's exploiting them. And the more pathological the SLD is, the more likely that the narcissist is going to exploit them even more. So, so they're always going to harm their relationship partner because that is the dance. The codependent or the SLD always finds love, attraction, chemistry in a narcissist, and a narcissist does the same. It's the dance. It's what brings, it's like the leader of the dance needs a follower and the follower needs a leader. It's all here in the human magnet syndrome. And therefore, they are always going to be connected to each other. One's going to take everything and one's going to give everything. And there is a different type of exploitation based upon the type of narcissism and the compatible type of codependency or SLDD. Dynamite, why do narcissists hoover? Well, narcissists have either limited or no empathy. So if someone leaves them, someone sets boundaries, someone goes no contact, they won't understand or even want to understand why. All they want is that person back so they can bring them back into this power and control type of relationship where they can make sure that person doesn't leave. Should that person leave, the narcissist experiences intense loneliness and despair. The even worse loneliness, pathological loneliness, than does the SLD. And unlike the SLD, they blame other people. The SLD, when they're out of a relationship, the codependent, their pathological loneliness, they blame themselves. That loneliness is so severe that they will do whatever they can, and hoovering is one of those things. My father's a narcissist and I have been abused. I notice I don't appreciate myself enough and it made me feel useless. Is this why I feel worthless inside? Yes, it's because of how badly you were hurt as a child during a important time of psychological emotional development. And that is why that's why I created the term self-love deficit disorder for codependency, because it explains your experience. Narcissists do not always mellow with age. They can get worse with age, but more than likely, and I have a YouTube video and one of my seminar videos explain this in detail, that the narcissist loses power and control as they get older. And for those who do, they reinvent themselves so that they have more control of others, or they counter the potential for people leaving them. Some get nastier and some get more mellow. It's not because they're having more empathy, they're getting healthier. It's because they're just retooling the way that they control people. I am going to take 3 more questions, and I can be answering these all day long. And I'm grateful that you guys are here with all your questions. First of all, I'm working today. I got to get back to work. I have a tremendous amount of information in my book, The Human Magnet Syndrome. I have 15 seminar videos that are made for the general public and professionals that range from 4 to 6 hours. That is how you get my information in complete format with handouts that goes well beyond any YouTube video. So I sincerely hope and appreciate if you check those out at selfloverecovery.com. We have a 30% discount now, and that discount is just email us at help@selfloverecovery.com and we'll tell you that discount. So I'm going to take a few more questions. And am I a narcissist if I control how I act to avoid conflict? Well, you know, Jamie, it's interesting. Any person that asks me if they're a narcissist, I automatically assume they are not, because a narcissist is not ever going to consider it. They won't think about it, and certainly aren't going to ask about it. The person who is gaslit to believe they're a narcissist, to believe they're selfish, they are always asking me if they're a narcissist. So that means someone in your life probably has told you you are a narcissist. And so take a look at that. Oh, don't worry about it, DJH. If the question was tough or too long, it's not your fault. Everyone wants help, and I understand it. I just could only do so much. Two more questions. One is, are victims of NPD always have the same psychological issues or behavior problems? No, they are as different as a personality type is independent of psychological disorder or mental illness. You can have passive, quiet, shy narcissists and openly gregarious and narcissist, performing narcissists, scientific narcissists. They're all different. And my last question, well, actually, I'll do two more questions. Is do I offer live streams? Well, these are my live streams that I usually do after YouTube videos. If you want to connect with me live, you can see if you want to either hire me as a consultant or a psychotherapist. But other than that, I don't do live streams unless I'm doing a webinar. And if so, get on our mailing list and we will send you information about that. So email us with your email address, ask to get on our mailing list, and email that to help@selfloverecovery.com. Oh, one more thing. I am having an intensive weekend retreat where I apply my hitch trauma resolution and integration method. This will be the 8th one that I'm having, and it will be in about a month, and it will be in the Seattle area, Seattle, Washington. If you are interested, please contact us at help@selfloverecovery.com. Last questions. Last question. So Violet, this is the last question. Do you think people with BPD are narcissists? Yes, I'm one of the few people who think that, and I am 100% convinced I'm right. That sounds almost narcissistic, but it's certainly not. It's just confident. So in my book, The Human Magnet Syndrome, I talk about 3 personality disorders that comprise the term pathological narcissist. One personality disorder is narcissistic personality disorder, and there's several subtypes. The other is borderline personality disorder, and the other is antisocial personality disorder, which is a sociopath, a psychopath. They all are different disorders with different type of explanations and personalities and symptoms, but all have a core narcissism. They all have distinct core narcissism. Okay, guys, I am done for today. Thank you so very much for your support. I usually release a video once a week. More often than not, I have question and answers like this, not always. But if you want more information, just shoot us an email, help@selfloverecovery.com. I have a wonderful, wonderful staff member, Derek, who not only answers as many questions as possible, but sends me the questions that need my answer. So thank you for your support. Thank you for taking time out of your day or evening, and just keep learning, learning, learning. Be careful with whom you watch there's a lot of smart people out there that will teach you a lot of information about narcissism. But the information that is about blame, retaliation, anger, well, who could blame anyone for having those feelings? But that does not promote healing. Now, I'm not one that will promote forgiveness, but this is a problem of the SLD. We can't change the narcissist. They don't want to change. But if you understand and believe in my human magnet theory, human magnet syndrome theories, you'll know that the problem is the SLD, or codependent's attraction to the narcissist, and their fear of leaving. Now, we know the narcissist will do everything they can to manipulate someone to keep them from leaving, but they cannot do that to a healthy person with self-love or self-love abundance. And that is the cure of codependency or self-love deficit disorder. And the way you cure that is you get to the core of all of the reasons someone is an SLD. And of course, I explain this in my seminars, but I've created an 11-stage treatment program, which is called the Codependency Cure, or the longer version is the Self-Love Recovery Treatment Program. If you'd like more information about that, got a lot of seminar videos at selfloverecovery.com. But I say this to you is that as much as I want to educate you guys on covert narcissists, I want to remind you that there is no SLD or codependent I know that has ever overcome their lifelong problem that has gone from generation to generation. It helps, it's necessary, but it's never enough. You have to honestly, courageously look inside yourself and ask yourself, why do you keep falling in love with, making friends with, or just building relationships with pathological narcissists? And why is it so hard for you to either stop or to break up, break off, or break away? And that's what you can solve. Because if you're courageous enough and you have the resources to get help, you can solve that. You can't solve the narcissist. Okay? Take care, guys. Be well. And any questions you have, shoot us an email at help@selfloverecovery.com. And for any information about the services and educational products I offer, selfloverecovery.com. Bye-bye.